10 insane engines of all time. Since the first engines were realized, the human race has always strived to make them more efficient, larger, and powerful. In today's video, we will explore 10 of the most insane engines that have ever came to fruition. Before we get started, why not hit the subscribe and notification buttons? That way, you will never miss a future video. Number 10. Bugatti Veyron W16 engine. Most cars today are pretty similar under the hood, with manufacturers only making small changes to the tried and tested engine building techniques. Well, there are exceptions to the rule, where engineers have thrown the old designs out the window. The Bugatti's 8.0-liter W16 engine is one of the most powerful and sophisticated engines in the world. It has 54 valves, 4 turbochargers, and generates enough torque to make the 2,000-kilogram beast seem as light as a feather. The W6 engine is effectively two narrow-angled VR8 engines that are combined at an angle of 90 degrees, mounted onto a common crankshaft. In 1995, the Jimenez Novia supercar used a W16 engine with 2 crankshafts. It had been constructed from 4 Yamaha FZR 1000 motorcycle engines combined together. The Volkswagen Group is the only manufacturer currently producing the W16 engine and has only been used in the Bugatti Veyron and Bugatti Chiron since 2005. The most powerful version of this engine was installed in the Bugatti Chiron Super Sport 300 Plus, which produces a bone-trembling 7,000 RPM. Number 9. GE90 Turbofan engine. Weighing in at just under 8,300 kilograms, the GE90 115B is one of the world's biggest jet engines. At 18 feet long and stretching 11.25 feet wide, this gigantic engine set the world record for achieving 127,900 pounds of thrust within a controlled environment. The GE90 was developed from the NASA Energy Efficient Engine Program. It was funded by the space pioneers to develop technologies suitable for more energy-efficient turbofans, which would improve thrust fuel consumption. In November 1995, the GE90 debuted aboard a British Airways 777 plane. Equipped with the first ever carbon fiber composite fan blades, it held the record for being the world's largest turbofan engine until it was knocked off its throne by the upgraded GE9X. The GE9X debuted in the Boeing 777X, which first took flight in January 2020. Number 8. Largest locomotive engine, the Big Boy. Union Pacific Railroad's 4000 class, also known as the Big Boy, is an articulated 4884 steam locomotive manufactured by the American Locomotive Company between 1941 and 1944, with only 25 being produced. The Big Boy was built to haul freight over the Wasatch Mountains between Ogden, Utah and Green River, Wyoming. During World War II, the locomotives were reassigned to Cheyenne, Wyoming, where they hauled freight over Sherman Hill to Laramie, Wyoming. The Big Boy is the only locomotive to use the 4884 wheel arrangement. This means it had 4 wheels leading the truck for stability, 2 sets of 8 driving wheels at its center, and 4 wheels to support the heavy firebox. Today, only 8 of the locomotives survive, with the number 4014 reclaiming its title in 2019 as the world's largest and most powerful operating steam locomotive. Number 7. Burmeister and Wain engine, Denmark. Burmeister and Wain was a large Danish shipyard and leading diesel engine producer in Copenhagen, Denmark. It was founded by 2 Danes and an Englishman back in 1846 and grew successful through their engineering feats. One of the company's most notable successes was the enormous engine that took the title of the world's largest diesel engine. It was built in 1932 and provided the city of Copenhagen with power when the energy grid failed. It stands at 12.5 meters tall and 24.5 meters wide. It was so big, in fact, that the building had to be constructed around the 8-cylinder 2-stroke engine. During World War II, a resistance group formed by the workers at the power station hid weapons in the engine house, in case they came under attack. The engine is started up every first and third Sunday at 11 a.m. and runs between 5 and 10 minutes. The colossal engine has now been turned into an exhibit for people to visit and also showcases other historical diesel engines, such as Burmeister and Wayne's first diesel engine from 1904. Number 6. The largest marine engine. Powering the largest ocean-going container ships in the world, the Finnish-made Wärtsilä Sulzer RTA 96C is a fantastic feat of engineering. It consists of a 2-stroke turbo that runs on heavy fuel oil and can be configured with 6 to 14 cylinders. It is the largest reciprocating engine in the world and is capable of producing a jaw-dropping 108,920 bhp. It runs at engine speed that range from 22 to 102 RPM, using a crankshaft that weighs a whopping 300 tons. The RTA 96C consumes more than 40 barrels of oil every hour, which means it costs around $2,040 an hour to run. Number 5. Biggest rocket, Saturn V. The Saturn V was built by NASA to send people to the moon and was the most powerful rocket that has ever flown successfully. It was used in the Apollo program in the 1960s and 1970s and was even used to launch the Skylab space station. Standing at a total of 363 feet tall, its height is equivalent to a 36-story building. To be able to escape Earth's gravity, the rocket had a design output of 7.5 million horsepower, which is capable of generating more power than 86 Hoover dams. The Saturn V was first launched with the Apollo 8 crew in 1968 on a mission to orbit the moon without landing. On the Apollo 9 mission, the crew tested the Apollo moon lander by flying it in Earth's orbit without landing. It was during the Apollo 10 mission that the Saturn V transported the lander to the moon. Most famously, the Saturn V rockets made it possible for first men to land on the moon in 1969. Number 4. The Wasp Major. The R-4360, better known by its commercial name, the Wasp Major, was the last aircraft piston engine that Pratt & Whitney created. It was also the largest and the most complicated piston engine produced in mass quantity in the United States. The 28 cylinders were placed in 4 rows, with 7 cylinders in each. They were arranged in a spiral shape so that it would cool off far more efficiently. The R-4360 mainly powered large American military aircrafts during World War II, including the Douglas C-124, Boeing C-97, Consolidated B-36 bombers, and Fairchild C-119 transports. 18,697 Wasp engines were produced between 1944 and 1955 and were later developed into the R-2180 Twin Wasp-E. It was essentially the R-4360 engine cut in half to power the post-war Saab 90 Scandia airliner. Number 3. GM's Rear Engine. When it came to cars in the 30s, all the leading manufacturers agreed the future of the motor car would have a rear engine design. This line of thinking influenced designers like Porsche, Ledwinka, and Ganz. The most successful realization of this vision was the iconic Volkswagen Beetle, and later, the Porsche 356. During the 30s, every major company was working on a rear engine project, but GM was one manufacturer who was determined to achieve their goal. It was the X4 engine, named for its cylinders laid out in an X shape, that managed to make the MG rear engines a reality. It was water-cooled and used radiators that seemingly predicted the modern hypercars of today, such as the Bugatti Veyron and Chiron. What ultimately stopped the development of the rear engine was the complexity of its construction, as well as a strange byproduct it produced. Shortly after the engine had begun consuming oil, a horrendous skunk and tear gas stench was released. Ultimately, the company abandoned the project, believing it would discourage people from buying it. Number 2. Spore-driven engine. It may sound like something from a dystopian fantasy, but Columbia University bioengineers have managed to create an engine powered by spores. It is the dormant spores of the bacterium Bacillus subtilis that are responsible for the engine's power generation. As nearby water evaporates, the vapor is absorbed by the spores and they expand. That power exerts a surprising amount of force that the researchers harness to make power. In their experiments, the group found vertical strips of spore-coated polymer film could lift 50 times their own weight. Number 1. Largest car engine ever built. The largest car engine ever made was the monstrous 28.5-liter engine belonging to the short-lived Fiat S76, which was aptly nicknamed the Beast of Turin. It's hard to believe that the engine was built over 100 years ago in 1910, when it was manufactured to break the land speed record of the time. The S76 was so powerful, in fact, that Fiat had to strap the engine down to the wheels with heavy-duty metal chains. The Beast of Turin's top speed was clocked at 134 miles per hour, which was not only unrivaled, but an astonishing feat for the time. Unfortunately, the S76 never officially achieved its land speed record, as the outbreak of the First World War forced the project to be shelved. That concludes our list of the 10 most insane engines ever built. If you enjoyed this video, please show your support by giving it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this one, please hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Thank you for watching.